1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4. Don't eat too many potatoes or you'll end up on the floor. Well, I guess only if they're turned into vodka. Hi, Jenny here. Today we are going to make cheese and bacon potato crisps. So let's get started. For this recipe you are going to need about 4 to 5 red potatoes, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of olive oil, 6 grape tomatoes, at least 4 pieces of bacon, a couple tablespoons of some type of a cheese. I'm going with shredded Mexican cheese, 2 tablespoons of sour cream, 2 tablespoons of chopped chives, and then some non-stick spray. I'm going to cook all of my bacon, so I have it trayed up here on baking sheets with some parchment paper, and I will cook it at 400 degrees for about 18 minutes or until my desired crispness. So the last time I made bacon, it took like 22-25 minutes. So today I did the normal 18, and I have 1 burned pan of bacon. But at least I have 1 good pan. So that's what we will be using today, obviously. I'm so disappointed that bacon burned. Smoke detector went off and everything, and I'm like, well, that's happened before too when I cook my bacon. I like cooking it in the oven because it is easier and faster. I can just put that in there and then do some other things while it's baking. But yeah, sometimes it sets off the smoke detector. Something, like I said, the last like 3 times I've done this, it's taken a lot longer than what it usually does. I have a video on here on my channel of cooking bacon in the oven, and it used to only take like 16 minutes to cook, so it was like between 16 and 18, and so I thought, all right, well, I'll go for the 18 minutes, and I should have went for 16 and checked it. All right, red potatoes, again, depending on the size of the potatoes you're using, it also depend on the size pan that you want to use. I'm going to use I'm going to use a muffin tin. The recipe called for using a mini muffin tin, and I thought, well, 1 slice of this potato is like, it fits a regular muffin tin and not a mini muffin tin, because they're supposed to kind of turn out flat. I guess if you want a little cup, if you want them to be more of a rounded shape, you can go ahead and use the mini muffin tin. I'm gonna try it in this one and see what I think. But in any case, like I said, with how I thought the recipe called for the bigger potatoes instead of the smaller ones on that too. So again, then also adjust your other ingredients. I went ahead and rinsed all the potatoes and the tomatoes and all the too, because we're leaving the skins on. I also can't find my other mandolin slicer. I have a really nice black one that actually has the grabber on it. That when you're slicing, to make sure you're not going to get your fingers. I don't know where it is, so we'll try this. If this doesn't work, it dawned on me that I have a blade slicer in my food processor. And if I put this up against the rubber, it won't slide. We'll see. I can use my food processor and do that. And that might work better. Good thing I have extra potatoes because I bought a big bag of these. So you're supposed to slice them on the thin slicing. So let's see. Yeah, I'm not even getting full slices. Interesting. I don't know if this would fit in my food processor. Dun dun dun! See? Real life cooking with Jen. We learn along the way. All right, let me see what I can do, I think, with my food processor. All right, so I got my food processor out. I do have the blade with the just a slicer on there. So we'll try that. Problem being that this opening is only so wide. So I do have a bag of potatoes, so I did find a small potato. I don't know if this one's going to be too thick or not. We'll try it. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, I'll just have to try maybe my handheld one again. Like I said, you're supposed to be able to use your handheld mandolin, and that would be a lot easier, but I have to find my other one. All right, Mom, let's try this. Boom, look at that, done. Let's see if I can get another one in there. crack it. No. I don't want to break my food processor. Should I shave just a tad off? Is it close enough? Maybe. I suppose in reality I could actually just use a knife and try to chop them too. They just might not be as thin cut. We'll see. Alright. Let's see what these look like. Didn't have too much on the top. Yeah. These are a little bit thick, so this might take a little bit longer to cook because they're supposed to be probably half that size. But let's see what we can do. We will take the potatoes out of here and just put them into a bowl. I guess looking for any pieces that might have, we're not going to use the end pieces anyways, but if they have any brown markings or any of that, that one's got a little bit. So I could take my knife, that's behind me. So in any case, we'll just put these in the bowl, and then we are going to cover them with some oil and the black pepper. That's pretty good. Is that an end one? That one's nice and thin. I don't know if we can use that or not. We'll start with this. If I need more, I will try to chop more. So a half teaspoon of oil. And again, that should be for a large amount maybe. Potatoes, that shouldn't really matter. And our pepper. I was gonna say maybe I'll go like an 1/8 teaspoon, some of that back. Otherwise, they might be a little spicy. All right, mix all this up so the potatoes are well coated. Yeah, this will make like a nice snack. I like potatoes. Just a little bit of a different way of making them. I've done air fried potatoes. I've done them in the air fryer. I've done them in just like cooked potatoes. I've done those in the oven. So this is just another different way of making them. Make it a cute little snack. I should have sprayed my pan first, and I could have just went ahead and done it. Okay, let me wash my hands. I went ahead and put the bacon from the pan on a plate with some paper towel. Again, for me, it's just a little bit greasy when bacon is just cooked, even if I do it just in the pan. So I like to take another piece of paper towel and blot it. It's okay if the bacon cracks apart and all that stuff, because basically that's what we're going to do anyways. We want to crumble the bacon, so we're going to use that as a topper. These are our potatoes, so that just helps at least get some of the grease off. I started some of them and I was just like, oh yeah, let's get some more of that grease off. And so then I'm just going to tear it apart in little chunks. Again, I think the recipe said like 4 or 6 pieces, or I figured we could do it all. We can use as much as you're going to want. And for me, I usually make salads for myself during the week and that too, so even if it's already all crumbled up, then I can just put it on my salad. It's good to go for that too. I don't have to crumble it the day I'm making a salad. Otherwise, we usually just put the full pieces of bacon away. when we're having bacon and eggs for breakfast, or if there is some recipe that I'm using bacon for or something. We usually buy the 2 pounds of bacon instead of just 1, because again, I know Cassie sometimes will just grab the bag and eat a couple pieces of bacon for a snack, or Wayne's done that too, or if we make sandwiches, make a turkey sandwich or a ham sandwich, then we put the bacon on there, or like I said, for my salads. So we do eat up the bacon. We'll have a little bit again for breakfast or for whatever, and then like having that leftovers. So that will work. Also, depending on how fast your oven preheats, the oven temperature should be 450 degrees. So go ahead and preheat your oven for when you're ready to put these little potato slices in. My oven usually heats fairly quickly, so I think I will do that when we start actually prepping them. Hopefully you can see this. I'm always conscious of my hands always in front of what I'm doing. And the lens can't see it. And I could stop and reposition and just go do an overhead shot, but when I'm working with something like this, when it's greasy and my hands are greasy, then it's harder to do. Stop and then have to wash. Do all this, wash again. I'm sure you get the gist. Just crumbling up your bacon. Alright. Now I'll wash. For each little potato snack that we'll be making, it requires 3 slices of potato. So I did go ahead and with a knife, I just went ahead and sliced up another potato. So these slices are just about as thick as what I had done with the food processor. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do one more, because I've forgotten how many slices I just had there. Let's see, I had enough for 6, so I think that was 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3 would be 9. 2, 3 should be 10. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix that all up with what's already here, because that should have been the amount anyways. So again, depending on the size of red potatoes that you have, if you happen to have some in the house, decide you want to use, try the snack, go ahead and use the smaller ones. If you have bigger ones, and then too, it's like, oh, we can try this. If you like to have just a small, usually I prefer the smaller one, so I can just, do it all in one bite. These are probably gonna take a little bit. Alright, we'll see what we can do. Because of these also being thicker, they're not going to bend so much, and they're of course not round, they're a little bit oval. And you know what, I forgot to spray. Spray your tin first. So once again, we'll wash hands and do that, because I'm all oily. And I wonder why my manicures aren't lasting as long as they were when I wasn't doing a lot of cooking. I wash my hands a lot. Okay, we're going to spray our tins really well. The potatoes already have oil on them, so that also will help them not to stick. Okay, we will go ahead and put 1 slice of potato in each of these. Yep, these are big, they're going to be on an angle. I was thinking the smaller pieces would be better for the tops, but I forgot how many I just said I had enough for. Dun dun dun. Alright. Let's start with that. I could always add more. So, I don't know how chefs do it with just using a towel. We are going to sprinkle each one of these with just a little bit of cheese. So blue cheese was one of the recommended cheeses for this. Cassie doesn't really care for blue cheese. I could go either way with it, but we do like the Mexican cheese. So I figured, yeah, you know what? Cheese is cheese. So just enough of a layer to have a little bit of melted cheese on there. Give it some flavor. Because we will be trying to do another layer. Yeah, I should maybe just do these on a flat pan. Seeing as they're not sitting flat anyway. Real life. Oh. I think I saw a recipe where, video where somebody just actually did lay them all. I think they just bunched them all up. Some of them used potato chips. Some of them just bunched all the potatoes up and they just layered it with cheese and all that good stuff too. But I don't know. Do the cups help? Do the cups help with heat distribution? Oh, you know what? We're supposed to put bacon on here. A little bit of bacon. My husband always laughs at me when I alter recipes. He's like, yeah, the recipe's not there for a reason. I'm like, well, it's a suggestion. And then you alter it with ingredients you like or, yeah, how you want to bake it. Which is what I'm thinking as I'm doing this, going, oh yeah, I could just use a cookie sheet because then these would actually sit flat because they're not. This isn't big enough for these round pieces. And then like with the bacon, it was supposed to be like, okay, 4 pieces of bacon was supposed to fit like 24 of these to do double layers. I'm like, well, I guess it depends on how much bacon you're putting in there. I like bacon. Just try to spread the bacon out a little bit. Alright, and then the second layer of potato. And then, so again, I'll look for the, I don't know, my bigger slices. This one's really big. Bigger and bigger. Alright. And then, I'll try to squish them down a little bit. Is that only 1 potato? No, it's 2 potatoes. That's why. And then another layer of cheese and bacon. So, I got one of them kind of fitting inside the cup. It's not going to go all over. Oh, this shall be interesting to see how this turns out. I saw some also you could do these like with like baked potatoes, obviously. Just potato skin type things. So you scoop out some of the potato material and leave some potato in there and then just add the cheese and bacon. And that as the goodies on the inside, cook that. And then again, we will top them with our tomatoes and chives. So a little bit more bacon. Yummy, yummy. If anything, this should taste good. It'll be a good lunch. Past lunchtime, it's 2:30. I've been getting my lunch at like 3 o'clock these days. It'll be fine. Oh, this depends on how fine you chop up your bacon also. How many pieces you want on there, how much bacon you want. Alright, and then we will top these with one more piece of potato, so I'm going to look for my smaller pieces. Push them on there a little bit, create a cute little topper. Well, should I have a smaller one? I don't know. Still got some bigger pieces. Okay, there we go. All right, we are baking these at 450 degrees for about 14 to 16 minutes-ish. It may take longer because these potato slices are thicker. So if you have thinner potato slices, unlike my bacon, I'm gonna start this at like the 14 minutes and just keep watching it and see when I think like the potatoes are done. Let's get some of this cheese off the sides. They're just gonna melt onto my container on my tin here. Let's have it melt inside with the potatoes. Okay, I think we're good. All right, 15 minutes. While the potatoes are cooking, we will go ahead and slice up our tomatoes. So basically, again, these are going to be toppers on the potatoes. So we can kind of slice them like in quarters. And then slice them again in half. So we go half or in thirds. Again, depending on how big your tomatoes are, will depend on how big you want your pieces of tomato that again will be as toppers for the potatoes. So we'll put some sour cream on there and then we'll put some tomatoes and then the chives. These tomatoes are very juicy. I used them for another recipe I made this week. I am forgetting what at this moment in time. But they're very juicy. They were tasty. They were good in whatever else I made. That's kind of too funny that I'm forgetting. I will post it below. I'll figure it out because when I go look at my channel, I'll be like, oh yeah, that recipe, that's the one I made. Anyways, I think we'll just set these aside. Have them ready to go. When the potatoes are ready. And then we'll also put a dollop of sour cream on each of the potatoes. So you can just use a teaspoon and plop it on. Or if you're inclined to be a little more fancy, you can put it in a baggie or some type of a piping bag. If you use a baggie, then you clip the corner of the baggie so that you can use it for piping. And you can pipe the sour cream in. So, alright, tomatoes are ready. And then with the chives, I already did, if I mentioned that or not, I already chopped them up. I grabbed about 12 of them, I think, and I just used the scissors and I snipped them all into small pieces. Again, depending on how big you want your chives on your potato, depending on how big you want those. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, okay, I'm cutting up 12 chives, and if I'm making 12 potatoes, that means basically each potato is going to have one chives, you know, one strand worth of chives, one whole. That's a lot of chives. So same. You don't use that much for me. Again, I'll put it on my salads or use it in a different recipe, but hopefully that should be enough. Time is up. Let's see what they look like. They look pretty good. Spoons. I should. Let me poke them with a fork. The cheese is all melted around there. Oh, turn that off. I was using this fork earlier. Let me see if they're still a little tough. I think my cheese is all melted and everything. I think I'm gonna put them in there for like another 5 minutes. Just to make sure that potato is done. Time's just about up, so let's take them out. Oh, smelling a little bit of burning. Cheese overdone, that looks better. Potatoes look more cooked now. So, I will then get these out onto a cooling rack. Alright, we will try to get these out onto the cooling rack. Hopefully they will have been sprayed enough that it should be easy enough to get them out, even with the cheese sticking and all that. And we shall see. Some of it seems a little bit, if I didn't spray it well enough. Oh, let's pop it out more. Thinking I don't have a rubber spatula and a rubber that won't melt in the heat, but also that can not scratch my pan. That's hot. Saw the steam. Maybe I can try the spoon. I'm going to need probably my fingers to help. Yeah, or the spoon I just dropped on the ground. Yeah. All right. Can I do it without holding on the pan? Maybe. Let me know if you have a utensil that works well for getting things out of the muffin tins. We should go back to a spoon. For the most part, it seems it's not sticking, so again, I just must not have sprayed it completely well. Sometimes I think I'm overspraying. I'm like, well, I don't think I need, that much in there, and then, I do something like this, and I'm like, oh yeah, could have sprayed a little more. They look good. They look pretty tasty. No. I guess this would also work better if it actually fit the size of the container, whereas I was saying with these potatoes being on an angle. So it'll be something to try. I think I did this again, because especially if I'm using the larger potato, just to try it on a baking sheet. And do it that way, because that way too, even if the cheese goes over and stuff, then cheese will probably also help hold it together. It will give you that cheesy outside. These look nice. They did come out. Here, I just check my thermostat. It's 79 in here. Oh my gosh, probably hotter here in the kitchen because one, the stove is on and oven. And two, I've got this light shining on me. So that makes it hotter. Which in the winter is very nice, and I'm nice and warm. But on a summer day, it's 79, but I opened up the doors to the house because of the fire alarm going off because of the bacon. Otherwise the air conditioning would be running and It'll be a little cooler in here. The other thing that's kind of funny is that, funny not funny, I had a chipmunk in the house last night. So yesterday morning I was hearing something down in the basement, and well, actually I thought I was getting a package delivery. I heard like crinkling of a package, of like a bag, you know, the Amazon packaging, so it's not a box, it's in the packaging, so it's crinkles. And I thought, oh, did, you know, Cassie order something that was being delivered today, or you know, whether Wayne ordered something. I don't know, sometimes my mom orders stuff and has it delivered here. It's just easier for me to be able to get it up off the ground and get it to her. And so I went and I checked my door, and I opened it up and I looked outside and there's nothing there. I'm like, oh, well, all right. And then I heard some more crinkling. It's like, oh, it's coming from the basement. And so I went and stood on, we've got a half landing, so you go down a couple steps, there's a landing, and then you go down some more. So I stood on the half landing and I'm looking down there and seeing if I see anything running or anything, and it sounded like it was coming from the dryer. So I went down a few more steps and I'm looking at the dryer, and I could hear crinkling like he was up in the dryer vent tube. And I'm like, oh boy, okay, so it's a mouse. Got a mouse in the dryer. Hopefully he's not coming out. And so I, put that in our family chat, and Wayne was all like, nope, it should be a completely sealed area. You should be fine. I'm like, excellent. I'm thinking about if he can get back up and out, and he gets into the window well outside. I'm like, can he jump up? I would assume they can, but then again, I don't know if they're afraid or tired. So I found a wooden stick. So I have some footage of that in one of my videos. I have a wooden, 3-4 foot long wooden thicker stake that I have for my plants and stuff. And so I put that in the window well so it was leaning in there so he could maybe grab onto that and climb out. And after about noonish, I wasn't hearing any more noise, because I would hear some noise and then it would like stop for a little while, and then I'm like, okay, I was getting tired. He's trying to escape. And so then I wasn't hearing any more noise, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe he escaped. So Wayne gets home from work after 5 o'clock, and we go down in the basement and we're looking and trying to figure out that, okay, if he is alive, what are we going to do? Are we going to try to take down the whole piping and put like a lingerie bag on the end, detach it like from the window and try to catch him, or do what? But there's no noise. We're like, all right, we're good. And we're all sitting at the computer last night. Cassie's home from work. And we're sitting there, and she's on the couch, and Wayne and I are at our computers, just pretty much looking at a wall. And Cassie was like, "Oh my gosh, there it is! And it's not a mouse. It's a chipmunk." And I'm like, "Oh!" So I was running around our living room a little bit. I found the patio door to try to get out, and I'm like, "Yeah, it's probably that chipmunk that's been eating my garden." So silly goose got in the house. Oh, so we tried trying to find him, try to get him out. By the time we got the patio door open for him, obviously he ran the other way. We ran back in the basement. And then he came up again at some point or whatever, and then he ran back in the basement. Yeah, and so okay, we're opening the doors. I tried using boxes to guide him out, and he just jumped over him. But at least we heard him hit the box, at least the one time he did that. Got to be midnight. Cassie had to work. She went to bed. I stayed up. And then I didn't, I'm like facing, I stopped on the computer, I was facing the living room so I could see if he was going to run for the patio door, or hopefully if I could hear him if he ran for our regular door. But I figured even that, if I tried to open it, he's probably going to run away. But I'm sitting there and I hear all the scratching at the patio door. And I was like, what the heck, is there somebody trying to get in? Because again, it's midnight, right? And it's dark outside. I got the lights on inside. And then I look and there's a little body there. I'm like, oh crap, the chipmunk's by the door. So I go over there to try to open it, and he runs the other way. But I had propped my garage door open, so I saw a little brownness run through the kitchen. And I'm like, well, he had to make it out. So I stayed up for another hour, and there was no movement. So, but today, I am like on extra hearing sensitivity of, okay, noises in the basement, noises in the garage, noises. Because I'd opened the garage right away, hopefully he'd get out. But anyways, so I'm like, okay, do I try doing cooking today or not? Or I'm like, we should be fine. But even still, any little noise, I'm just like, I'm a little on edge, a little feeling. Okay, I guess we could go ahead with this, even the way they are. So we have them all out. They should be, you know what, I'm gonna let them cool for a little bit more. because I don't want the sour cream just melting all over them. So we'll let these cool for about 15 minutes and then we'll continue. So to finish them off, like I said, you can put some sour cream into a piping bag if you'd like. Otherwise, just use a couple teaspoons. Put a little dollop of sour cream on top. Do a couple of them. And put a couple tomatoes on top. I think I would do this part last, depending, again, obviously if you're putting this out on a table setting for people just to grab as snacks and stuff, do it all right away. But if it's going to be a little while, I would kind of wait for the sour cream, or even just leaving it for people to add themselves if they'd like. But, and then, my fingers are wet from the tomatoes. Sprinkle a couple chives on top. To make it look all pretty. Add a little extra flavor. There we go. Need some extra bacon. Put some extra bacon on top if you want. Anyways, I will finish these off and then we'll eat one. Dun, dun, dun. The cheese and bacon potato crisps are finished. They look good. They smell good. So let's see what we think. Mm-hmm. That's good. Got the potato taste right away, the bacon taste right away. And the cheese and the sour cream. Yeah, onion gives just enough flavor, because I was thinking, like, you know, there really isn't any salt in this recipe. So you have the saltiness of the bacon. But like, well, you get the flavors then of your sour cream and your chives. So that's good. I think it was worth it to make. I usually don't care for cleaning up muffin tins when they have all that excess on there, so I would just have to remember to spray generously if I'm making this again. Or I almost might think I would try, like I said, a baking sheet and be able to try it that way too, seeing as the potato rounds were more oval than round. But other than that, all the mixture of ingredients are good. This is a nice potato side dish, or like I said, snack, or that, so I like it. Just a little greasy. Oily and all that, so I don't want my plate to slip out of my hands. In any case, I will leave this recipe down below. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you like making this type of dishes. If you like potatoes, what do you like to add to your potatoes? Do you prefer a baked potato, adding all that goodness in there? Or I made like a baked potato soup once, which was really like an everything all baked potato soup type of thing. That was pretty good too, but I like potatoes myself, so. Anyways, I am going to go enjoy eating a few more of these. You guys keep it positive. Go make it a great day. Bye-bye.